Hello there. Greetings. Today we have some time warps. That is the name of the game. We're going to be taking some turns. I like to call this deck Foretold turns because it has as foretold and you take a bunch of turns. Alright, so where to start with this deck? First of all, you've probably seen this style of deck before. You cast Dictate of Crewfix, and then you take a bunch of turns with Time Warp, draw a bunch of cards, and then hopefully combo off and win the game. So you may notice this deck doesn't actually have any win conditions. That's probably one of the first things you noticed, which is why our win condition is Elixir of Immortality, or in this case 2 Elixirs of Immortality, because we want to back up one in case something happens to our first one. So how is that a win condition, you might ask? Well, we're going to deck our opponent. Either with Mikokoro, Center of the Sea, Gear Reach Sanitarium, and of course Ancestral Vision, targeting our opponent, making them draw 3 cards and deck. And you may think that would take a long time, and you'd be right. So hopefully our opponents concede long before that happens. If not, we might be in for some long games, because our plan is to slowly deck our opponent as we take infinite turns and cycle through our deck with Elixir of Immortality. So yeah, that's the basic premise. So As Foretold is going to mostly be here for casting Ancestral Vision for free. That's its best purpose, but it actually does a lot more, casting all your other spells. It's really good when you're taking extra turns, first of all, because you're gonna get an extra counter on your As Foretold. It's also amazing with Savor the Moment, because you don't have to tap anything to cast Savor the Moment and take an extra turn. It's also good with Opt, which is in Modern now because it's in Standard. Well, it's not actually in Standard yet, right now. But Opt is legal in Modern right now because Magic Online is strange. Even though none of the Ixalan cards have been released, Opt is legal. Alright? Deal with it. So yeah, As Foretold is good with Opt because you can cast Opt on your opponent's turn, and As Foretold lets you cast cards on your turn and your opponent's turn, so you can basically use up your As Foretold on your opponent's turn and then use it again on your turn, so that's a nice little bonus. We have 12 little card draw effects, which, who knows, it might be too many, but we're going to try out all 12, and also Ancestral Vision. So yeah, that's a lot of 1-drop blue spells that draw you cards, but it's going to be great, don't worry. Beyond that, we have Exhaustion, which we're going to be using to just rebuy us turns, and Gigadrowse. I'm not sure if this is the right split, 4 and 1. I don't know. We're trying it out. We're gonna focus on Exhaustion for now. What else have we got? Cryptic Command is kind of to bounce Pithing Needle, I guess, if they name Pithing Needle on Elixir of Immortality, but it's also kind of a pseudo Gigadrowse that taps your opponent's creatures and just deals with any problem permanents that I'm not thinking of right now. So we're gonna, it's probably not necessary to play Cryptic Command, but it's not a bad card either. And it's also good with As Foretold if you have 4 counters on As Foretold. It's kind of nice. So yeah, that's the basic premise of the deck, to just get Dictates and As Foretold's out, and then take a bunch of turns and shuffle all your cards back in and take a bunch more turns until something good happens. As for the sideboard, to start with, we have 4 Thing in the Ices, which is gonna vastly increase our ability to win the game by smashing our opponent with a 7-8 in the face. Hopefully they're siding out the removal, and we're bringing in our Thing in the Ices and winning that way. Bouncing all the creatures is pretty good. Having all these little cantrips is amazing with Thing in the Ice. So yeah. Also going to be great against Burn, just as an 0-4 wall / win condition. Speaking of Burn, that's why we have Dragon's Claws, because Burn seems like our toughest matchup, so we want to have a chance post-board against an otherwise terrible matchup. We want some Dragon's Claws. It's also possible Kraken's Eye is also an option, since we're mono blue, and Kraken's Eye gains you life when you cast blue cards, but Dragon's Claw also seems good against Burn. But who knows if that's going to be enough. Hurkyl's Recall is for the artifact decks. Dispels are going to also help us against Burn, and just against any sort of counter spell decks or combo decks that have instants. Spell Pierce is going to be a little more versatile style, similar to Dispel, but able to get like Liliana the Veil or problem cards like that. Grafdigger's Cage is a nice one of if you don't have any issues with it turning off your own stuff, and we don't, so we're going to be playing one of them. It's going to be great against like Dredge or Court of Calling, Collected Company decks, that sort of thing. And another Cryptic Command, just in case we want another sort of value type card to bounce problem permanents. So yeah, that's the deck. It's going to be great. So I hope you enjoy. Let's play.